This individual must be stopped. He has done this for far too long. He is one of the reasons that I exist in this space, along with 97 Won the Ticket. Who could I be referring to? Free press writer Carlos Monarrez. I have nicknamed him Carlos Manure because all he does is spew stuff, if you know what I mean, about the Detroit Lions. I really don't like to call people out of their name, but I think he has earned the nickname Carlos Manure. All he does is criticize and critique to know and make up ridiculous things about the Detroit Lions. He's like one of them people you can never satisfy. No matter what they do, you can never satisfy him. He is the guy that you hear making dumb questions, asking dumb questions when it comes to the Detroit Lions. And it makes you wonder, why does he even continue to do his job? Now, Carlos, we've all been in instances where it's been very hard to root for the Lions. The Matt Patricia era was one of those instances. But since Sheila Hemp now, hired Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, and they've turned this franchise around, we have a legit reason to be excited. Not the same old Kool-Aid drinking stuff we always have, but a legitimate reason to be excited. And Carlos Monarrez needs to be stopped. They need to take his media pass away from him and kick him out of Allen Park, because this guy here has gone too far this time. Now, he has compared Jameson Williams to other Detroit Lions first-round picks that can turn into bust. One being Nick Farley, one being Eric Ebron. And just the mention of this last individual's name is what got me to make this video. He's comparing Jameson Williams and the fact that we've seen this before to Charles Rogers. Charles Rogers, drafted back in 2003 from Michigan State. Dude was a dog, and he reminded me a lot of Jamarcus Russell, where he had the potential, he had the talent, but it never translated to the field. I think already in Jameson Williams' short career, you can't even compare him to Charles Rogers. To compare him to Charles Rogers, to even mention Jameson Williams' name in the same sentence as Charles Rogers, is very disrespectful. I have been very hard on Jameson Williams. I'm thinking as a 43-year-old adult man talking to a 22-year-old child or young adult, okay? I'm a full-grown man. That's all I have from him. I'm not going to compare him to the troubled Charles Rogers. Now, Carlos Monarrez, while this is a subscriber-only article, and if inside the article, he doesn't make that comparison per se. Like, he doesn't say, I'm comparing this guy to Charles Rogers. It's actually an article to make you think he's concerned about Jameson Williams. What he wants is a mentor. He wants Jameson Williams to have a mentor so he doesn't end up like the other quote-unquote first-round picks that we had. Let's hear what Carlos has to say. He said, as I said, this is not an indictment. In fact, it's the opposite. It's genuine concern for Williams and his career, because what he probably doesn't understand is how quickly the Lions or any NFL team will cut him and move on if he becomes a problem or a distraction. Lions coach Dan Campbell explained that there are many people in the organization, including himself, who make up a united front and who are in constant contact and work hand in hand with Williams, as well as all young players. Now, there was an individual a long time ago who I'm surprised he didn't bring up here. His name was Titus Young. Dude had massive potential. But away from the league, he got into most of his problems. He got into a couple scuffles as well, and he just went downhill. But in Titus's situation, there was something going on. There was more going on, stuff that we couldn't see that we found out later. But to bring up Jameson Williams simply for getting suspended for gambling, to compare him to Nick Farley, which he was pretty good, Eric Ebron, outside of his drops, he was okay. He wasn't as horrible, but Charles Rogers is a whole different story. Now, let's look at, and this is what got me all riled up today. Charles Rogers, this is his career in the National Football League. You ready for this? He played a total of 14 games. He had a total of 36 receptions. He had a total of 440 yards, 4 touchdowns. His longest play was 35 yards. He missed the entire 2020 2004 season, I wanted to say that was that broken collarbone, and he came back and never was the same and was out of the NFL within 3 years. Jameson Williams already has a play that's bigger than that right there. Charles Rogers had off-the-field issues, major off-the-field issues. Jameson Williams getting suspended for gambling on his phone in a hotel room on probably a away game is nothing compared to this here. Handing water bottles out. I understand, like I said, I'm very hard on Jameson Williams. Very hard on him. But I'm not. This, to me, is ridiculous. And to top it off, Charles Rogers passed away at the tender young age of 38 years old back in 2019. To mention Jameson Williams' name in the same realm of Charles Rogers, to me, is the ultimate disrespect. No disrespect to Charles as a person. But this kid has done nothing in the stratosphere. He has been in no legal trouble. He has had no off-the-field issues, really. He's liked a few tweets. He's given water bottles, $100 for water bottles. He goes to Dave & Buster's with his significant other. Outside of that and the gambling thing, what it is Jameson Williams has very high, we expecting a lot of him, as we should. He was drafted 12th overall, probably the best receiver in the draft. We should expect a lot of him. That's why we drafted him so high. That's why Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are in love with Jameson Williams. That's why Jared Goff said, I like a lot of things, but I love Jameson Williams. But this, to me, Carlos has gone too far. He has gone too far, in my opinion, with the comparison of Jameson Williams to Charles Rogers. He must be stopped. And that is why the thumbnail of this video says he must be stopped. And that is why people like myself and other content creators who talk your Detroit Lions have decided to get in this space, because we have no filter. We have nothing that is going to get in our way. We will remain fan. This guy here, he needs to be stopped. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Carlos, Jameson Williams comments, were they out of line? Okay, be respectful, be clean in the comment section, because we want to chat for all ages, okay? But I understand if you want to pop off. But Carlos, we need to get myself and other Detroit Lions creators, we need to get us credentialed so we can go in there and give you the actual fan perspective. Ask the questions the fans will want to ask, right? Carlos needs to be stopped. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. I'll be there one day. And as always, go Lions. Well, not just me, my whole crew.